Hi, John.
Hello, Alex.
Do you know what I hate?
What's that?
The sand. I don't like sand. It's all coarse and rough and irritating. It gets everywhere.
Will you marry me?
Yes. Yes, Padme. I will.
And then murder some children for me?
Oh, I mean, done and done.
Yeah.
And I mean done. So obviously that quote from Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, means we watched 1999's The Mummy. All right, so John, The Mummy. Let me just tell you the most charming thing about this film. Not the most charming thing, but I got such a kick out of. Did you notice what happened over the kind of opening production team crawl? Still,
what?
The Universal kind of whatever you call that, the snippet to introduce Universal Studios.
Yeah, like a logo thing.
Yeah, it says www.universalstudio.com at the bottom,
yep.
Which is so charming. It like, oh, the internet was so new to these poor rubes.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember, did it have the HTTP as well? Because they used to always
No,
have,
it just had www, which is like, it's one, just having the URL there is great. And then it's just, there's something about the stark www is just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It really got me.
It helps sort of position your brain into that time. If you were alive then, it's like, oh, okay, I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I don't want to talk to young people, but I kind of want to talk to young people about that. I'd be like, well, what do you guys think when you see that? The ones that weren't around for this.
Most likely they'd say, shut up, old man, and go back to skateboarding.
Yeah. Just smoking their death sticks and buying Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Fucking up GameStop.
Yes, the real victim in all of this. GameStop.
Yeah, that's what's great about that line is it's really evergreen and people are going to remember it. Like literally next week when this episode comes out, people are going to have forgotten about this fucking thing. Here is, speaking about evergreen comments, and this is totally out of order, but I just want to get this out just because it's not going to fit in. Early in the film, so they do the intro, yada yada. And I put the old CGI is kind of charming. It's not trying too hard because it's mostly used for background stuff early in the film. Having completely forgotten that there's a CGI mummy later in the movie that looks like utter dog shit.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I mean, it certainly did. I still like all the sand stuff, like all the particle effects and the walls of sand and like all the faces in the sand. That stuff's kind of fun. But it's dated. And I found out also that at the time, Industrial Light and Magic would charge you more if, because they did the effects for it, but they would charge you more if your shots were moving. Because like tracking software and that kind of stuff that technology wasn't nearly where it's at today. And so it would be a lot more work to do something like if you had a camera moving to have the effect like appear more natural, like an actual, like a CG person or a bug or something. But, so that changed some of their shots and, they only have a budget for so many.
It makes sense. They use CGI sparingly in the beginning, and it kind of looked neat because it's like older CGI, but like it's like they knew what they were doing. They weren't overusing it because I completely forgot the mummy isn't practical.
Yeah, no.
I mean, we'll get to it. We'll get to it when he gets on screen, but boy, there's some issues.
Yeah, I do like the sort of and it is absolutely dated, but the sort of pit of souls or whatever that his beloved, like her soul comes out of during the opening kind of montage. Like that stuff still kind of looked cool.
Yeah, because it's not meant to be kind of representative because it's just weird.
Yeah.
Like the opening credits are fine too because it's like kind of artistic. So you can just say, oh well, the weird CGI is obviously it was an artistic choice, but it works because it's not photorealistic. But then we'll get to the mummy when he shows up. So the movie opens as most movies do with Pharaonic Egypt. Because every movie we watch is about Pharaonic Egypt, with great pharaoh Seti I and his vizier Imhotep, and his wife who's fine as fuck and can't be touched by anyone but the pharaoh. Hey John, guess what happens to that fine as fuck lady?
She walks through the screen or like through the pyramid, inexplicably nude most of the time.
I don't know. It was ancient Egypt. Weren't there fucking titties hanging out everywhere?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not an Egyptologist.
I feel like in cartouches and hieroglyphs and stuff, you're always seeing titty. I think they weren't. They didn't have the. It was.
I don't spend my time with that puerile stuff. I read high-minded hieroglyphics
Yeah, exactly. Just a manga of Yurotsuki Doji.
Yep.
I don't know why that name was in my head so readily. So yeah,
I have no idea what it is, but it's
it's like I think it's like tentacle fuck anime. Or like hyper.
You just had that ready to
or
go.
Or like hyper violent. I don't remember. I don't. It's shit from high school. It's just in my head for some reason. Yeah. This was not Puritan time, so they're totally fine with their titties hanging out.
Yeah.
And turns out that Imhotep and the wife to the pharaoh, who I'm sure has a name that I didn't pick up on.
Oh, it's Anksunamun.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they say it all the time later. I kind of.
Mm-hmm.
This is dumb of me, but I didn't really put together that that's the name he keeps obsessing over, because she's only on screen for like 4 seconds in the early film. I kind of it like did those two things. Yeah, so I'm still not going to call her that because that's a lot of vowels. She and him are hooking up, and he stupidly touches her arm paint because she's got arm paint, maybe as a security measure, and she's found out by the king, the pharaoh, Seti the First, and he's mad, John. He's not happy about this.
I am a huge fan of Imhotep's like his priests, his eunuchs. Like, I don't know, the gold dudes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're not really explained. They're just some dudes that are painted gold. And they want to lend a hand, and I thought they were great.
Well, later they try to hunt down Peter Quill after he found his dad, Ego, the Living Planet. I
mean, I know this is a Guardians of the Galaxy reference. Oh, no, I'm getting it.
There's a Guardians of the
Galaxy
Galaxy 2 reference where they had those weird gold people that I don't remember their name.
Let's not bring Marvel into this. It's not necessary.
Really? Because this feels exactly like a Marvel movie.
There is a lot of stuff now. I'm going to spoil it now, but there's a lot of stuff in here I should absolutely not like, but I was absolutely charmed by this movie.
Well, so I was thinking about that while I was watching this, and I was kind of batting my head whether they're going to like this or not. And I think the fact that this is before, because I think the thing with Marvel movies, that if you had watched one of them in a vacuum, you would love the shit out of it. It's that they're all the same movie. Yes. Is really the thing that kills you. And since this predates them by a lot, it's like you can't do, like, you're not allowed to have it be dragged down by every movie is the sameness of Marvel. Because I was watching this, I'm like, yeah, it's very Marvel-y. This feels Disney Marvel specifically. Like, it's got that, this should be a stunt show, a Disneyland vibe to it.
Yeah,
but it's fun.
It has a lot more like pep and energy to it. Something like another movie of that time, like the National Treasure movies. Something like that to me than a lot of more current stuff, but whatever. It is what it is. It's kind of, it definitely has a throwback to like it's trying to be an older movie, not just in that it's trying to be Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it feels like it's trying to draw from that same well.
Yeah, the Well of Souls. So the king finds them, and he is mad. And he decides to give Seti the Imhotep the worst imaginable punishment, which I don't remember the name of it. It's called the.
Well, didn't they kill Seti, and then like his bodyguards were like, oh hell no, and
that's right, yeah, that's right. Amun, the lady. Stabs him in the back, and they, in shadow, stab the shit out of him, which was...
Yeah, there's a lot of shadow violence, and I love it. Because, I mean, this has got to be a PG-13 movie, but it always just, I don't know.
It's great.
I'm always a fan of that.
Because I like how this is going back to the 1930s style adventure movies, and that feels exactly like that. There's so much of this is... And I mean this in a good way, because even though I opened up shitting on Star Wars, this reminds me of why Star Wars was good. Of like, they both went, oh, we're going to watch old serials and fun shit and just ape it. And, take all the good parts and make it into one kind of modern movie. And this has got a lot of it. And this has a lot of Star Wars in it, which we're definitely going to get to. But, I thought it was fun. But yeah, so the king's dead. And I guess all the court kind of band together to give Imhotep the worst imaginable punishment, which is he gets his like tongue chopped out, and then he gets thrown into a sarcophagus after having magical rites thrown at him, so that he's going to be mummified alive as scarab beetles eat him.
Did they take out all his innards too, or was that? Or no, that was her. I think they took
her innards out. They did the full canopic jar.
Yeah, he did, because that was part of his ritual to try to get her back
because she killed herself.
To let him get away.
Yeah, to let Imhotep get away.
Which is interesting, because that actor, Arnold Vosloo, if I'm saying that right, South African, and he was kind of surprised he got the part because he's like, I'm a white dude from South Africa, and I guess this dude just went like, yeah, African, good enough.
Oh, the guy that
White
plays
enough.
Imhotep?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The one that got me was Rachel Weisz. Is that who plays the lady in this? That she's like, oh, yeah, my mom was like, was half Egyptian. So, so that's why I looked at it, because it's like, I mean, I get like, an actor, like a white actor playing like Middle Eastern, Egyptian, whatever. Like, yeah. But like, you don't look at Rachel Weisz and go, oh, yeah, you totally look like my
Clearly
queen.
Egyptian.
Like,
Yeah.
That part was the stretch to me, where like, no, she doesn't. Unless maybe it was supposed to be the necklace. Maybe the necklace tipped him off. Because he made a big deal out about it at the one point.
I don't know, because he seems like he was like, when he like remembers her when he comes back, it seemed like he was specifically remember her. And that's a throwback to the original Mummy, the Karl Freund, Boris Karloff one, where he's back because of his long lost love, or he finds a woman that he thinks is his long lost love.
So anyway, he's mummified in a bad way. And he's kept in a tomb.
Not the cool kind of mummification.
Well, I mean, generally, I would say the good one is the one where you're not alive when they cover you in flesh-eating bugs.
Yeah, I mean, they can't satisfy everybody. No accounting for tastes.
Well, except for scarab beetle tastes, because they're
Yeah, and very slowly apparently.
Head priest, delicious.
And I do like that this is so bad. What they did to him is so bad that they have to hide the body, because if he ever got out, he would unleash all these plagues and he's just all powerful and whatever. Like, I like that idea of this sort of like give and take of magic of like, look, we're going to do this awful stuff for you, but it's going to make you super powerful. That's why we got to bury you under tons and tons of sand.
Well, this is where the conceit of the film, and obviously this is a dumb adventure film, and I'm not going to knock it too hard for this, but it falls apart if you think about it remotely. This guy was just a horny priest. Mm-hmm. When he comes back, he's somehow a plague-carrying monster that's more powerful than anything.
I think it had to do with the magic and the stuff they did to him. That's the way I took it any.
But that doesn't even make any kind of sense. Like
neither does a mummy coming back from the dead.
No. Yeah, but that makes sense. I'm saying from the logic of the Egyptians. Like, all right, let's say, remember that movie Shocker, where the guy that went to the electric chair came back as electricity?
Yes.
If we knew that there was a chance of that happening, we wouldn't electrocute people.
Right.
So if they knew that this, because obviously they did, they wrote 2 books about it. If they were aware that you could come back and become an all-powerful death god, why don't you just stab him in the neck?
It's not a great future-proofed plan, but it is like this guy committed the worst sin. Like he killed a pharaoh, like a divine king, and the thing is that we're going to be in power forever. This society is going to exist forever. So why would we even think about that?
Yeah.
We can just bury him and we'll always be here to protect it because we'll always be here and everything's going to be fine. It's not a great future-proof plan, but I can see the thinking behind it.
Maybe, but also they set up the Magi to watch over him.
Yeah.
And also
and
future-proof, you just had your pharaoh killed. Obviously there's some issues in your lineage.
Yeah, look, Egypt fell off. No one's arguing that. But I'm just saying their thinking at the time might have led to that, but this was the thinking at the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. We kind of fast forward to Egypt, 1923, and there's a battle going on. Brendan Fraser's there in an undisclosed role because he's just there. Is he an archaeologist or is he fighting in that war?
I think he's supposed to be like in the French Foreign Legion or something.
Okay. I don't really care. Like it's like, I get it. You just have to be there for the movie to work. But I was like, I don't know why this man's there. It doesn't matter. He's handsome and he's shooting dudes on horses. Yeah.
And we're also introduced to his buddy, Benny, who, played by, Kevin J. O'Connor, who is bugging me the whole time. I'm like, where do I know him from? What else have I seen him in? And he's in There Will Be Blood, playing a character that looks almost exactly the same. And so, that guy is typecast as just like a spindly weirdo.
Oh, wait, so you don't have a problem with an Irishman playing a Hungarian, huh? Oh, I see. I see where your lines of race are drawn, John.
Well, I wondered what that accent was.
They say Hungarian a few times.
Oh, do they?
You know,
Okay.
let me say, it's, as I've pointed out on the show before, I watch everything with closed captioning on, and he speaks in Hungarian quite a few times.
Ah. Because I was wondering, I just imagined Sacha Baron Cohen watching that guy and going, hey, wait a minute. I've got an idea.
I mean, it might as well be. I mean, it's it's right there. Yeah, it's in that weird center part where it's like, all right, where can we stop? Where can we make fun of people and not be shit on? All right, yeah, it's so kind of Russia-esque. Okay, yeah, well, let's do it.
Yeah, we need someone who's kind of like a cartoon of Peter Lorre, but like just that version of him, not like from a real place, just a weird accent.
I'm glad he didn't do the Peter Lorre because I feel like that must have been a temptation.
Yes, yeah.
So they're fighting nameless Middle Eastern people on horses. Benny is a coward and gets Brendan Fraser caught.
Mm-hmm.
It's you know what it is? It's cowardice and sedition, and I won't have it in my army.
Well, that's good. You're no longer in charge of the French Foreign Legion because it runs rampant there, apparently.
I think on paper I still am technically.
Ah, well, you probably want to get that looked at.
Yeah, it's been a mess because we can't leave the country because of the whole Corona thing. So like, I think technically, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm like vice president of Venezuela.
Yeah, you definitely want to look into that. That shouldn't be the case.
I don't really want to because I kind of feel like I'll be strung up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think you still being alive doesn't seem right. I think you should probably look into that.
I'm really glad I gave them your address. Anyway, moving on. Goop. Now we fast forward 3 years. And I'm going to forgive this movie, but like, that's awkward storytelling, and maybe you shouldn't have done it that way.
Yeah, it's like the whole open is just a narrator telling you, okay, look, this is how the mummy goes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's set up. Like, this guy loves this lady. And then, yeah, it's like, what? And then here's Brendan Fraser. Like, you probably could have lost that whole bit and just had it been sort of explained. I don't know. Or like, intercut that in later or something. But yeah, having it be right there.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, what you do is you have him catch up with Benny on the boat, and they're playing poker together, and they tell him about how Benny fucked me over when we found Amenhotep the first time. I'm never going to pronounce anything right.
But I can also see how you're like, okay, audience, look, we know we just made you sit through a bunch of talking, and there was some cool mummy mutilation, but here's some action. Here's some dudes falling off of horses.
Yeah, it's fine. Again, it looked cool. I think the practical effects in this movie are great. They're all... anything with fire, anything with horses, it looks great. Which is, that's the nice thing about watching these movies from the past. They have practical effects. They hold up real well.
Yeah. Oddly enough, when you do something practically, it tends to be okay.
So, when we're in Cairo, we are introduced to Evelyn, who we get introduced to during ladder shenanigans.
Yeah.
Because she is, let me tell you, she is a bit goofy. She's bookish. She's a librarian, and oh man, she's clumsy. She's on a ladder and she gets stuck on the ladder because she's so. This has got to be the first time we've seen a character like this on film since like every other movie ever.
Mm-hmm. Well, she wasn't a Gungan though. I think is the difference. Usually that stuff is save that for the Jar Jar.
I don't remember Jar Jar taking off his glasses, shaking his hair out, and being a fucking smoke show.
You haven't read my fan fiction.
I was about to say, yeah, I forgot. I forgot how you spend your time.
Yeah, no, but she's great. And actually, I love that little bit at the beginning where she knocks over all the bookcases because it's just one shot of.
Oh yeah,
the bookcases going around, and I about halfway through, I'm like, oh, are they going to do the whole thing? And I was kind of excited that they did. I don't know. That's such a low bar, but I'm just excited to watch the dominoes finish.
No, it's great, but it's just like, you might as well have like a chyron at the bottom saying stock character. Like, I mean, everybody in this movie like is, and then it's like, oh, look, it's that B actor guy that's in every movie. Hey, he's playing an Arab with a mystical past that knows the secrets of what's going on.
Well, that's kind of, I think, why I like this movie is that it doesn't try to be more than it is. There's not any kind of like, but it was love and this is serious and whatever. It's all just like, no, this is going to be a fun adventure and it's going to look like things that and it's fine. But I don't know. It's still got some spunk to it.
Oh no, absolutely. It's funny I don't know. Just in the kind of context of more modern filmmaking, you don't really see now they try to put a little bit of like a glaze over stock characters, and this is just like, nah, this is what we're making, which is, it's nice.
It's fine. Yeah. It's great.
While they're there, a sequence of hilarious events leads her to find her brother, who, do you know that actor's name?
John
guy's
name is John Hannah. Yeah.
So John Hannah is one of those that guy actors I really like. He did a run in what the hell was the name of that show? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Marvel show. As like a computer scientist guy. And he was just so great in it. And he's just one of those, like, he's now entrenched as, oh great, that guy showed up and stuff. Like he's one of my faves.
I only know him from Sliding Doors. I used to date a woman that was obsessed with that movie, and we watched it a bunch.
Oh, she had like a cool backyard or something?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was, yeah. But he's very funny in that. Although in this one, I don't love him. He's kind of given an impossible task, and there's an oral history of the whole film. I forget that I was reading. I think Entertainment Weekly published it, but he was talking about how, like, the director Stephen Sommers, at first John Hannah was like, well, I don't understand what I'm doing here. Like, you have Benny is the comic relief. He's the Brandon Fraser's the hero. What am I doing? And like Stephen Sommers was like, well, just kind of hang out in the background, and if you can be funny, do it, and we'll cover it. It's like, great, thank you. So I think that's like sometimes like some of the jokes and stuff is just him like, I got to do something today.
Oh yeah. I mean, he no reason for him to be there. I like him as an actor, and
he's charming enough. He's fine, but yeah.
So her brother's there, and they find this little locket box, and inside of it is a map to the city of the dead. He's like, hey, I know somebody that the guy that I stole it from. He knows where this place is, and that's how we get introduced to Brendan Fraser, my man,
the man.
And he's looking shaggy. He's been in prison for a little while. He summarily gets hanged, which I was not expecting. Like that was pretty fucking brutal.
Yeah, because they do the whole they have a little back and forth, and he knows how to get there. She wants him to help her get there, and he's like, no, you got to help me, not get hung for whatever. They don't go into his crimes. They just say he had too much fun. But he's about to get hanged, and so you think it's going to be this last minute. She's trying to bribe to get his release, and you think she's offered enough money, but he's like, nah, and just hangs him. And I guess while they were actually doing that stunt, like they did it once, and it was like, yeah, it's pretty good. But the director Stephen Sommers was like, do it again, and we're gonna do it again. Could you struggle a bit more? And in doing so, Brendan Fraser like choked himself out.
Oh, really?
And was like, after I was like, I'm done for the day. I'm going home. And there's still some disagreement between the two about whose fault that was, because the Stephen Sommers like, it was Brendan's fault, and Brendan was like, yeah, it's my fault because I was following your direction. So
yeah. I'm gonna side with Brendan Fraser on this one. You're the director. You told the guy to do the hanging scene again. That's on you.
Yeah, you don't hang people. We could do that. Start there.
Yeah, and it's a brutal looking hanging. Like the way he hits is.
Yeah, it was really uncomfortable. Not funny. And that character that of the warden, the Ahmed, the actor Ahmed Jalili, who's a like actor, comedian guy, is great in like what is essentially, a just a stereotype.
Oh yeah, he's playing Watto.
Yeah. But I still think the guy brings something to it.
Yeah.
And it made me actually enjoy hanging out with that character. But
he was good. Could have gone a very bad way if they had cast it a little less charming.
Yeah.
He gets bought out of the hanging while still hanging. And they're like, hey, good, will you take us to the city, blah, blah, blah. And they agree, and they meet up, and this is a direct great scene where Evelyn is talking to her brother, and he's like, he is filthy, rude, a complete scoundrel, and then turns around, and Brendan Fraser's standing there, and he's like, who are you talking about? And boy, is he looking handsome. Mm-hmm. And he's also wearing a kind of leather vest looking thing. and it literally
Yes,
is
sir.
just Han Solo, and she's
Oh,
Princess Leia. I mean, it's literally like she might as well call him a fucking moof milker right there.
Yeah, I mean, like he's. I mean, this is his character is sort of an Indiana Jones type.
Yeah.
A treasure hunter thing, which is not not a character that originated with Indiana Jones, but it's certainly like that is the name that you think of. But I do think he doesn't, or in the movie itself, doesn't try too hard to make him that way. I think he does like try to have these like charming moments, but he's not trying to be Harrison Ford. He's just trying to be Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
And I think that works to the movie's advantage because it is there are some of those wacky one-liners and stuff like that, but sometimes he's just a lot more just gruff and not in a charming way. And I think that actually I found somewhat refreshing.
Yeah. He doesn't have that kind of. I mean, we talk about this more for women, but I mean, it works with Harrison Ford. Like Harrison Ford, it does have that like "I'm a sexy baby" thing in Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Like that scene where he's like, "I've got an owie, kiss my elbow." Like,
Sure.
Like it is. He's got that kind of like innocence is hot thing where it's like, this is dumb. Like you're a, what was that word for the 80s? You're a himbo.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like
I'm the first person to say himbo in 30 years.
Oh no, that's hugely popular. There's whole online communities based around himboism.
Really?
Oh sure.
No shit. I thought that I was remembering that from when I was a kid.
Oh no, himbos are a thing. They're hot, baby. They're hot.
Oh, I had no idea. How do I become a himbo?
I'm sure there's websites about it.
Do I need abs and a jawline? Because I don't have either of those.
What you have to do is get mummified and in a very particular way, and then get your body uncovered, and then eat some flesh or have some bugs eat some flesh, and you'll end up looking pretty good.
Because I do technically look like Brendan Fraser. It just, 2021 Brendan Fraser, unfortunately.
Right.
That's right. I'm a robot that drives cars.
Just like Brendan Fraser.
Yeah. That's a Doom Patrol reference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still have not watched that. Heard it's good.
It is. The first season. Very, very watchable. You should watch it.
I will. Well, so we have our adventuring party now. We got the warden, the librarian, her brother, and Brendan Fraser. They're all going to go try to get this treasure. And so they're getting on a boat to do so. And on the boat, they encounter this other group of treasure hunters who are all Americans, and they're apparently with Benny. And so you get a little introduction to these characters, and then you have a moment where Brendan Fraser throws Benny overboard, which I very much enjoyed. How he was just like, "I'm going to murder you."
Oh yeah.
I mean, they were just on a river, so he could have, in theory, gotten ashore. But he's just like, there's not any kind of fun thing about it. He's just throws him overboard. And then that's also when we're introduced to, I forget what you really start to see I don't know if they're the same. What names they have for the protection?
The Magi.
Protectors. Yeah. That are essentially the same as the Grail keepers from Last Crusade.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just that's all I could think about. But they show up and that was a neat little scene though, where you get this action scene with the boat cabin getting set on fire as one of them tries to accost Rachel Weisz to get the map. And the dude's like on fire, but he's still trying to get the key or whatever it is.
Dude, I love a fucking fire stunt where the guy keeps trying to do something when he's on fire. This is old Hollywood. I mean, this happened in like every third like cowboy movie or whatever, but like that'll get me every time. Like a stuntman trying to like pick something up while on fire. Oh, good stuff.
Very, very Michael Myers kind of thing. Like it just keeps coming. So it ends up burning down the entire boat.
Yeah.
Which I also like too. Like it's a disaster, and they get separated from everybody else and all the horses and stuff like that. So they have to go get some camels to get there, and then it doesn't really matter. They eventually get to the city.
Here's the it was a funny line, but it gets kind of shot the shit second later. Whereas like Benny's alive, it's like, aha, I'm alive, and Brendan Fraser and his like shit eating grin is like, you're on the wrong side of the river. Mm-hmm. Really delightful scene. But then they like end up at the city at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Which kind of goes like, what was that whole you're on the wrong side of the river thing? Like apparently there's a bridge like about a half a kilometer up because like it was instantaneously caught up to each other.
But just, hey, fuck you, Benny. I think it's just the movie has to have a certain number of those because just screw that guy.
Yeah. Oh, according to the Wikipedia here, Rick O'Connell, that's Brendan Fraser, he was part of the French Foreign Legion.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, you were correct. Well done.
I based it on the hats and seeing old cartoons. My brain just went, yeah, it's French Foreign Legion.
The old cartoons had never steered you wrong, except for the time that you fucked that rabbit that had lipstick on.
Yeah. That's true.
God, early Jaws was weird.
Yeah, I'm glad that episode got deleted.
Well, it's on the Patreon.
Oh, man. Well, if you want to hear about the movie Heart Beeps, check out that episode.
Yeah, speaking of which, patreon.com/AlexBolin, Alex with 2 X's, to get all the extra John and Alex Hate Stuff episodes. They're on there. There's like a few. You can go listen to them.
Little bits.
Yes, we just recently did one for that other movie.
Serenity,
yes, the shitty one with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
You can listen to Alex say cum gutters.
Well, you just gave it away for free.
I gave away my cum gutters for free?
Yeah.
Oh, from your lips to God's ears.
What's the point now?
The himbo in me is coming out.
Yeah, there you go. You've just made a brave first step.
Yeah, so they meet up in the desert in a race to get to the hidden city. And they do this fun little gimmick where they get one of those kind of desert mirages at sunup, shows the way to the city.
Mm-hmm.
Or the city just shows up when the sun comes up by some mirror. Either way, it looked really cool.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm always a sucker for that kind of like, that's dumb as hell, but it just, it made me very happy. Yeah. That kind of cheesy reveal. I guess shooting in the desert was somewhat of a nightmare. There were like a lot of like vitamin B12 shots needing to be taken. And, there was like a
vitamin
snake.
B12?
Yeah. People were getting sick a lot out there because of exposure and the like. It's just not great conditions.
Oh.
There were sandstorms. Like apparently, Vosloo's trailer got like the paint peeled off of his because the sandstorm was so bad.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and they're poisonous snakes and real fun stuff. And I always kind of, I don't ever want to go do that. But I always like when people like go into the elements to do this stuff rather than, just green screened in a studio.
It's just amazing that they still do it. Like after, because they talk like going back to this is an episode about Star Wars apparently, but like after they talk about like all the troubles George Lucas had in Tunisia, like how they had to cover the cameras and like plastic bags and how the actors were passing, like all the same horror stories you're telling now. This is 20 years later. Like, figure some shit. I'm not saying CGI it because they don't have the CGI for it in 1999. But like, can you go to the Red Rocks out or wherever Kirk Fort the Gorn, wherever that is in California? Go there and film.
Yeah, sure. Why not? But I do love it. Like, I mean, the both William Friedkin and Francis Ford Coppola had movies where they went into the jungle and like had miserable shoots and lost their minds. And both those movies are amazing.
What William Friedkin one are you talking about?
Sorcerer.
Oh, I don't know that one. I mean, maybe I do, but I don't know that one.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's awesome. But I just like that. It sounds miserable.
Yeah.
I love that people do it.
Yeah, it's a strange choice. So yeah, so they finally find the city, and it's basically a race to figure out stuff, and like the American team finds the box with the evil black book in it. Or wait, what did they? One team finds something, and the other team finds something else. I can't remember what the fuck which one finds which.
Yeah, because she really wants the book.
Yeah, which the Americans find.
Yeah, she finds the remains. They find the book.
That's right. They find the actual gooey mummy. Yeah, they find the titular mummy. Yeah.
Yeah, the jerked mummy.
And fine titular mummy it is.
But this like it's interesting because like this is I think 40 minutes into the movie at this point, and this thing has been going along at a pretty quick pace.
Yeah,
and like it's pretty lively. Like the energy's up, and here it starts to falter for me a little bit. Like it wants to become a little bit more of a haunted house thing because you're in the spooky tomb. And I like it. Like it doesn't go it doesn't try too hard for that because it is a PG-13 movie, and it also kind of understands its role as a carnival ride to a degree. So it's like we're going to have these kind of goofy scares, but it's not going to be anything too bad. But it's still, I think it gets bogged down a little bit here. That being said, I still love it. I still love all the spooky stuff and the awful, like the warden guy finds these jewels in the wall. He starts like stealing them for himself, and one of them, like, he drops one and it hatches, and it's one of the bugs, and it crawls into his shoe, under his skin, up into his brain. And it's ridiculous, but the whole time I am just, and even the effect is kind of so-so, but I'm just like wincing and rubbing my arms and just, ugh.
I wrote down a yuckaroo.
That's I think the best way to describe it is yuckaroo.
Yeah, and so they, after he gets the scarab, they're trying to read the inscription of the book, and it's or on the mummy's tomb, and it says, "He who shall not be named." Oh, yep. Shit.
Yep.
You know what I wrote there right there was John's worried about me referencing Harry Potter.
That's exactly correct. I was like, I'm going to be hearing about this.
Oh, boy. Well, anyway, yeah. So I'm not going to talk about Harry Potter. So they, as you do, you go through your dead friend's stuff, and they find a bottle of Glenlivet, and they decide to get drunk. That one dude that I said, that B actor that I like, what did we say his name was? John Hannah. Just drunk off his ass, just killing dudes. Oh, just drinking Glenlivet, murdering people. That's the life right there.
It's great.
I mean, yeah, if I could have a hero, squad goals. Am I right?
Right. Yes. Well, I also like the Rachel Weisz's drunk performance is very like.
Oh yeah.
Teenage theater. Like I've never had. Drinks
I am
before.
a librarian.
Yeah.
I'm going to kiss you now. Yeah. That's when the Magi, which they're not actually Magi, but I couldn't hear what they're saying, but it sounded like that. They were attacking. So that's what this whole thing is. And for some reason they go, all right, well, you are sitting on top of a thermonuclear magic device that can destroy the world. But, we'll give you a day to leave.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Look, it's the law. We have to, like, it's regulations that, our hands are tied.
Yeah.
Which that guy, Oded Fair? Is that his?
No.
I don't know. I can't talk. Yeah, Oded Fair plays Ardith Bay, who, I don't remember if this was on mic or not, we were discussing, is the name of the mummy in the Boris Karloff version goes by when he's like pretending to be just a regular dude.
Oh, yeah. I think that was off mic. Fun fact about Oded Fair is if this were the 90s, I'd be very attracted to him. That guy is 90s fucking sexy right there.
Yeah.
He's got
he's
like
a good looking fella.
Yeah, good looking guy. He's got like the kind of long hair. He's got a face tattoo. Like, man, that's
Well, he was supposed to have more tattoos. He was supposed to be like covered in tattoos, but the director went, "No, he is too good looking.
Damn
just
straight.
Have tattoos."
No, that's a fine piece of 90s right there. That's like got that Antonio Banderas vibe of just like, kind of long hair, a little something going on. Wrap me up a piece of that in a time machine.
Yes. There was something also I noticed that was very like late 90s about this is this movie loves having two guns, having a gun in each hand. And I feel like that was a really popular, and maybe I'm misremembering this, but I feel like there was a time where that and pointing the gun sideways was like a huge deal.
You're the right time period, but I feel like the two gun thing is more of a cowboy callback.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. I just to think of because I think like John Woo is becoming more in the popular.
No, you're absolutely in the right time because this is Matrix here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. So I do think you're right. I do think it has more of like this is supposed to be more of a cowboy thing.
It'd be really awkward if he turned his gun sideways in this.
Yeah.
She fucks up and reads from the book, and that brings the mummy back to life.
Again, love it.
Yeah.
That's some Army of Darkness shit. Like it's just these dumb idiots bringing about the end of the world. So much fun.
Also, you could have told them. I mean, they wouldn't have listened. Forget it. I take it back. It's why would you let them? Why would you give them a day? It's so just murder them. Murder the dumb white people that are about to bring the devil back.
Well, I think maybe it's he admired. He's like Brendan Fraser came back again. Like we left this guy to die in the desert, and he's still here. Like out of respect, I will give you a day.
Yeah, I admire that you broke into our nuclear silos twice. I'll let you. Yeah.
Okay.
I bet
First time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me.
I bet you can't guess the code. I'll give you a day to work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful. So yeah, they get it gets brought back, and this might be a little out of order, but Imhotep comes back and he takes the tongue and eyeballs of one of the Americans.
Yes.
And
that guy has this very Thelma or is it? No, it's Velma. It's very Velma like, oh, I dropped my glasses. I can't see anything.
yeah, it's real bad.
And they're like spindly little glasses. You'd think they'd be like giant Coke bottle frames, but that was pretty corny. But okay, whatever.
Yeah,
but yeah. Then he gets left behind in the mad dash of like his stuff starts kind of collapsing and shit starts going down. And then bugs eat his head.
Yeah, well, no, before that, Evie runs into him and he's got no eyeballs and no tongue.
Yeah.
Because he hangs out for a while. No, the bugs don't eat him for much later. That's the other guy.
They eat parts of his head.
No, that's the other guy. Imhotep eats his tongue and eyes, and because remember he goes back to the hotel.
Oh, I thought the bugs are what? Oh no, you're right. Because Benny is like, no, thanks for letting me eat your eyeballs.
Yeah. Because
did me a solid.
But there's a gross scene where you could see into his head, and it's like, ugh, yes. Fuck. Yeah. So they meet back up with him at the hotel, or we meet back up with him, and Imhotep's there lounging in a fucking outfit. Looking.
It looks like he's on his way to like Eyes Wide Shut party.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I was trying to remember that name. What was the password?
Fidelio,
yeah. Again, Harry Potter. Yeah, but it's just, I love how casual Imhotep's sitting there. Look, he's got like a sassy kind of body motion when he's there, and he just eats the shit out of the dude.
Yeah, well, it's also just, I don't know, he's taking in a lot. It's like, oh, cars, huh?
Yeah.
All right, well, I got to eat this guy.
Oh, we actually skipped the important bit is before he kills the guy in a hotel. We have the moment of conscience with Brendan Fraser where he's like, no, I told you I'd take you to the city and bring you back. I didn't say I'd fight the devil. I'm leaving. You're coming with me. She's like, no, I'm not coming with you. He decides to leave, Han Solo style. Because again, it's very much a New Hope. But this is where it starts like raining fire, and the fountains start filling with blood, and it's all the ancient.
The 10 plagues.
Yeah, and the one actor, her brother, starts quoting shit from I assume the Bible about the plagues. And this is where I made the note of like, how the fuck would they know this was going to happen? He was just a horny priest. Like, where does all this shit come from? But
there's probably been legends.
But how would they have a legend? We watched the whole thing. He got his tongue chopped out. They said some incantations. They threw him in a box.
Right, and they said that when he came back, he was so maybe just the process was known. Because I even think she mentions that like, well, it looks like he got screwed up real bad. He's looking at the etchings on the inside of the sarcophagus and stuff like that. But
no, but what I mean is how the hell? Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm just as a practicing magic kind of pagan guy. It's not like you do a spell and go, all right, I do a spell and the side effect is going to be godlike powers. Like it's so fucking weird.
Yeah, it's magic. I mean, that's the rules of magic in this movie.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like, all right, so the positive side, he's going to go in a box and be in pain for a while. The negative side, all right, so skies of blood, raining fire.
But if he gets out, and he's not going to get out because our civilization is going to be around forever.
It is true.
And we will rule. It's a well thought through plan.
Yes, and the statue of Bender will be 10 times as high.
But going back even further. I like the bit where he recruits Benny, where he's the mummy who is back to life now and is lumbering around, is about to kill Benny, and Benny's just holding up all these, like, he's holding up his cross to try to stop him, and nothing's happening. So he holds up, he's saying in English, he's praying, and then he holds up.
Let me explain this because there's an extra level to this when you have closed captioning on. Because he holds up the one and it says speaking in Hungarian, and that's his language. And then he holds up a picture of Buddha and it says speaking gibberish.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, he might very well be.
I know, but he fucking killed me because it was Hungarian, English, gibberish, and then he speaks in Hebrew, and Imhotep's like, the language of the slaves.
Yeah. speaking gibberish. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I do like because just Benny is such a but I like this, I guess, is because it is silly and kind of, played for laughs, but it isn't really it's not wacky. Maybe is what I like about it, because it is still like, well, it seems like he's in danger and he's kind of going. This seems very natural for him to do. It doesn't seem like a bit as much as it is just this is this character.
Yeah,
I don't know. It felt more natural.
There's a spot here where the mummy tries to visit Rachel Weisz because we've realized that he's enamored with her, and he gets chased off by a cat, which made me laugh a lot.
Yes,
I mean it's an old bit, but as you're saying, laughing at Looney Tunes, it's funny to see this creature, poor malevolence, like get scared off by a cat on a piano.
Well, and the fact that they really play it up to with it being this white puffball of a cat, and then later, when Brendan Fraser uses it as a weapon against him, pointing the cat at him is hilarious.
Yeah, and then the Brendan Fraser's chasing Benny at some point here, and this is where the meme. Have you ever seen the how people are obsessed with the Brendan Fraser throwing the chair at Benny?
No.
So that scene where he throws the chair and he kind of knocks Benny out with it. There's like whole subcultures based around this. There's like websites like to talk about how great of a throw it is, how you can see the chair change in the second chair. There's just this whole, it's just this weird fucking rabbit hole I fell down one time, but apparently people are like kind of obsessed with it. Like, oh shit, it's the chair scene.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I don't feel as bad for knowing about himbos.
I mean, you should probably still feel pretty bad.
No, I do, but what a weird...
I'm knowledge shaming you.
Wait, is that really knowledge, though?
You're knowing stuff. Are you kink shaming John? No. I'm making fun of him for knowing about a kink. I'm actually I'm 100% fine with the kink itself. It's John's knowledge of aforementioned kink.
Yeah, it's just someone knowing about it is, I don't think, cool.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're a nerdlinger. You might as well get up on a ladder in a library.
Yeah, have some adventures up there.
All right, so Imhotep finishes off the rest of the American team in various ways to get his body back.
One thing I like a lot about the American team is that, okay, so there's that one guy that looks kind of like an offshoot of Matthew McConaughey or something, but the non-eyeball eaten guy,
yeah,
he just looks like someone you work with.
Oh yeah,
Like he just looks totally just like that guy, not that guy actor, but like that guy. And I like that he's in an action movie.
Yeah, I also like that they weren't played as dumb Americans or villains. They were just on a different dig. Like there wasn't anything objectively wrong. Like that so easily could have been like a yee-haw dumb American stereotype, which I'm fine with. I hate my country.
There is some of that because they joke about the Americans when they're shooting stuff, but yeah, they're not really like a they're just an obstacle. They're not they're not malevolent or anything like that. But I also like just talking about that one guy, the kind of balding dude, made me think. There's a lot of like weird little, as with any movie, a lot of goofs, blunders, and whatever. But one of my favorite ones is there's a scene, I think, here where when they're talking about they're kind of getting back together, and they're gonna go. I forget what they're gonna go do, but like Rachel Weisz is not allowed to come, and he throws Brendan Fraser throws her in the bedroom and shuts the door and then pulls that guy over. And it's like, no, she doesn't get out. And when he pulls that guy over, he completely pulls him out of the jacket he's wearing.
Oh, really?
In between takes, because when in the long shot, he's wearing a jacket, but when he pulls him up, he's just got a shirt on.
Oh, that's fine.
I just like the idea that he just yanked him right out of that jacket.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. It's a dumb little thing, but it made me laugh.
Oh, no, I enjoy picking up on those stupid things. There was actually one point where one of those guys' jacket was half on, and I kept staring at it when the mummy was coming after him.
Yeah, I think it's the same guy.
Yeah. There's a great chase sequence here that doesn't really need anything to the plot, but like there's like a car chase with all of Imhotep's followers who are plague-ridden, trying to kill our heroes. And it's a nice little bit of action sequence running over people. It's a good bit of business, fun, 1930 style.
Yeah, there's a bit here also, the same kind of thing where of goofs where when you see the yellow car drive around the city at night, the wheels aren't actually moving. And it's fine. It doesn't matter because you're generally not looking at it. But as soon as I noticed it,
why would the wheels not be moving?
because they're just towing it. I don't know, but they're not moving.
Oh,
Yeah, it's bizarre. Go back and look.
wait, what?
Like,
But how
yeah,
are they
I don't
even?
know, maybe the car just wasn't working that day, and they're like, we need this shot, and so we're just going to tow it. Pull it out and like have another car attach a rope to it.
No, but wheels move when they're towed.
yeah, I don't know. The car wheels aren't moving.
Oh, that's befuddling.
Yeah,
What?
or it could be an optical illusion. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't believe in those. I'm a Christian.
Oh, sorry.
I believe in the flat Earth and no optical illusions.
I'm sorry. I worship gibberish,
Yeah, exactly. I worship Imhotep, Yahweh, and gibberish.
and the rest.
Yeah, not in that order though. Yahweh first. No gods above him, but I could have a shitload below him.
Below.
My God is atop.
My-
So, drunk Captain Monterey Jack, it comes to the rescue, and he lets them use his plane to fly back to the city because Imhotep is absconded with Rachel Weisz. There's a drunk guy. We didn't mention him earlier. He's only there for this scene to happen.
Yeah, you get this weird little backstory of him wanting to die
Yeah,
in an adventure
because all of his
situation,
friends
and-
died in the Great War.
Yeah, but man, being I was thinking about watching that, like how great that would be to be like an old, doddering British guy, just drunk and bothering people. But then I think about you probably also had to be pretty racist, and that might not be as fun. But still,
Let me think about that. I mean, you're probably right, but he was living there. Maybe he was like, I would think he's probably at that point probably only racist against the races that don't live there.
probably
So like
yeah.
he probably has like a lot of opinions on the in quotes Orientals.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
or like just the people that are in the Middle East at the time, But now it's like, oh, these are my friends.
But this whole plane ride is very silly, in that like it's just silly. Like so to get all of them there, you have Brendan Fraser sitting on like a tail gunner seat because it's just like this little Cessna thing. You have the guy flying it. You have John Hannah sitting in the other seat, and then you have Oded Fehr strapped to the wing. And there's just this weird shot of him like holding the wing and just like bobbing back and forth, smiling.
Oh yeah.
And then Brendan Fraser like turns around and is like, "How you doing?" And then he just keeps bobbing and smiling, and
Yeah.
then it just cuts to something else. And it's just on its own, it's extremely bizarre and jarring. But it made me laugh immensely.
It's great. He's having a lot of fun, but it's a weird. Yeah, it's a.
I think they just had to establish like, no, look, this is how he got there. He's on the plane.
Yeah.
But they get attacked by a giant mummy-faced sandstorm,
Yes.
which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, this is fine, and this is where the CGI kind of, I would say, holds up. It still looks good.
Yeah.
It looks cool. In the same kind of Harryhausen way, where it's like, you don't actually think it's a skeleton, but you're like,
Yeah.
wow, this looks awesome. Those little marionette clay works are great. Like this shitty
Yeah.
CGI looks fun.
Increasingly, I'm in love with that stuff. Like watching old horror movies and stuff like that. So often these practical effects, I'm more just like, I get what you're trying to do. That rules. That's
Yeah.
awesome. It's like when you see if you have a misfortune of seeing a play, but they're actually like trying to do some kind of effect or something, and you're like, yeah, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
how you did that.
Or you like watch like a cryogenically frozen cake Hitler melt.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I was trying to think about how that like Brendan Fraser is sort of at first I was thinking he was a happy medium between Indiana Jones and Duncan Jacks from Cake Hitler. What is the name of that movie? Order of the Black
Order
Eagle.
of the Black Eagle. Yeah.
But he's way better. Like that's insulting to Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser is, one, unsurprising, had a huge crush on him when I was a kid, but very charming. I think he kind of got the short end of the Hollywood stick. Like, I don't know what happened to him, but like, he's good.
Yeah, a lot of stuff went down. There was actually like, I think he was a victim of a Me Too thing. I think that came out.
Yeah,
Like
I thought I'd heard
but
that
like-
too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of unfortunate stuff. But he's getting a little bit of a renaissance.
Yeah, it's just
which is
unfortunate
cool.
because he's super fun. Like in every
great,
like,
yeah.
in every movie he was in the 90s, it's one of those like, why did this happen? Why did this train stop? I wanted this man in my
Yeah.
life for longer.
I don't know if it holds up, but I remember watching Gods and Monsters with him and Ian McKellen, which is about like James Whale and the director of like Bride of Frankenstein and his like secretly being gay or not secretly. Like I don't remember too much about it, but I just remember for being a more dramatic role, I was kind of impressed by Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, I only like him being dumb. Yeah, no, give me Monkey Bone,
Encino Man.
Yeah,
that's
Blast
it?
from the Past. Like that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, this movie could have used more monkey bone.
Yeah.
I think but I mean, that's true of pretty much everything.
Yeah, or more Christopher Walken being his dad. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel Weisz distracts the mummy by kissing him, and they get to the city of the dead. It's like a fun sequence. And then Captain Monterey Jack gets swallowed by the sand and dies a hero, as he always wanted to. And he gets to be reunited with his friends from World War One. He could have just hung out for like 7 more years and started killing Nazis, but whatever.
Yeah.
Coward's gonna cow. Then we get into the final kind of action sequence bonanza in the city, and this is the kind of roller coaster section of like this is where the Universal City ride would be. It's fun. There's mummies being resurrected left and right. There's a mummy juggling its own head. Brendan Fraser kicking ass. Like this is a delightful sequence.
They keep it moving pretty nicely, and I like it's not just the same thing. I'm just here's this mummy we're fighting. Here's that mummy, but they do kind of all come out at once. Then there's some that are like more warrior mummies that show up.
Yeah, they had the two that came out of like the bas relief. They're like Imhotep says the spell and he comes out, and that's cool. And then like there's mummies coming from underground, and most are practical. It would stuntmen in outfits, which I think it loses me a little bit. Like when they're jumping over the water, where it's just like, no, that's just a guy in brown latex. Like it's not. There's a couple spots, but still, it's super fun and very very Disney ride.
Yeah, apparently the big fight with the skeletons at the end. The camera, according to Brendan Fraser, anyway, was to get the motion capture stuff, was the size of a industrial refrigerator, and it was on rails and robotic, and you had to, do your moves precisely, exactly. And I remember that being a thing with Terminator 2, with Robert Patrick and Terminator 2, of talking about like the hardest thing of being the T-1000 is like matching these things exactly or doing this stuff exactly, because if you were off, it was going to screw up the animators and all this stuff. And James Cameron is a very precise man, but so like, yeah, definitely in these early days of CG, it was, I mean, it's tough now, I'm sure, but like, dealing with this sort of fledgling technology that probably made things a lot harder.
Yeah. It's one thing to act against a green screen, but to have that kind of precision, yeah, that sounds annoying.
Yeah. But, and I do like that this fight because, or all these fights, because like it's high energy, but like, again, the thinking about, and I don't just want to talk about like what this movie's not and how it's better than other movies I don't like, but I was thinking about like the bit where he's fighting a bunch of mummies and he kicks one in the balls, and it's done so that you see it happen.
Yeah. But
they just move on. It's not, you don't get the mummy like close up face, like eyes crossing, like say a Luc Besson might do. But I do like that it's like, yeah, fight. Hey, check it out, everyone. He kicked a mummy in the nuts. Yeah. Okay, fight. And they just kept it really, really exciting rather than just making it silly. Yeah,
there was some good stuff here. While the whole action sequence is happening, Rachel Weisz is tied to a railroad track. Basically, she's tied to an altar with the queen next to her. And Imhotep's going to kill Rachel Weisz to take her soul or whatever and give it to the queen, and the queen's going to come back. Like, great. The other sequences are trying to find the Book of Ra to read from, to kind of go back on what they did earlier. The spell from the Book of the Dead. This works. They read the thing, and it makes Imhotep alive again. And it makes him alive again by having a CGI ghost cart take his soul away. I think that's what happened.
It's so weird. It's almost like a like the Phantom Carriage or something like that. Like just rolls through and picks him up.
I mean, I love it, but boy, did I not see that coming. Like, really? There's just a cart that like, all right, fuck yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. Which we skipped over the when they have the book, they're able to the shitty brother John Hannah is it like reads the inscription on it and figures out that like doing so will grant them control over these certain mummies, and so it gets Imhotep can't control them anymore, and they use those to kill his bride who's been trying to resurrect.
That's right. Time. Yeah, that was a cool sequence.
And I again, like I like that this movie doesn't. it was interested in setting up, okay, this is why he's doing that. This is a man in love and whatever. But they don't like try to really make you empathize with him in this like big. This wasn't a huge dramatic thing. When she gets murdered, he's like, nuts. I'm gonna have to fix that.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta go kill these guys. But I really enjoy that it wasn't too. It didn't lay on the schmaltz with that.
Yeah. And cool shadow death that we were talking about before.
Again,
quite
another
like
great
that.
shadow death.
Yeah, so he becomes, Imhotep becomes a man again, and Brendan Fraser promptly stabs him through the gut, which, great. He's dead. And then there's the kind of escape sequence where Benny has been trying to loot all the gold in the place. And in a typical bad guy in every movie that needs gold, he tries to take too much and it spells his end. Because he tries to, he puts his bags down on a little bag holder, which makes the booby trap of the temple go off, and the temple starts.
Yeah, he thinks it's just a protrusion from the wall, but it's a lever.
Yeah,
yeah,
and there's everybody's running out to save themselves, and Benny gets trapped. This was a nice thing. Brendan Fraser tries to save Benny.
Yeah, but again, it's the thing where like, no, I'm going to try to do it, but then he doesn't. Like the thing closes and goes, "Bye, Benny."
Oh yeah,
that's it.
Love it.
He just moves on.
Very, very, very Han Solo, where it's like. He's a good guy, but also, I don't mind killing a motherfucker. Like, I
this
tried.
guy fucked me over.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
Yeah, I don't like him. I'd rather not. I don't want to see him get crushed to death by an Egyptian temple, so I'll give it a go. It didn't work out.
I honestly think that the Benny trap, like Benny alone in that cave, is the most chilling part of this entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's creepy because you see all the stuff comes down, and all the interiors of these sort of underground areas are lit by a series of mirrors that catch sunlight. They make a point, and I love when they walk into one, how Brendan Fraser just shoots one, and it just positions perfectly.
Oh yeah, I made a note of that.
That's such a video game thing. I love it.
It's so stupid, but it's so badass. Because also,
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser, he's handsome, he's an actor,
Yeah.
he's getting
Of
the
course he
girl,
would do this.
and he shoots a
Yeah.
fucking mirror. It was like, oh, this is so badass.
Yeah, just perfectly positioned. But so those get crushed, and so he's just in the dark with his torch. And you feel the oppression of the looming darkness, and then the bugs start coming, and you're like, oh man, Benny is screwed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he shows up in the next one or whatever, if he somehow gets out of there. But that was I thought that was for being the comic relief character. They really they kind of gave it to him.
Yeah, Benny. I don't know if he shows up. I don't remember the second one. So he's they get out. Turns out the lead Magi. I mean, we skipped this part, but the lead Magi guy sacrificed himself. So everybody else can escape. But it turns out he didn't sacrifice himself. He's alive, which they didn't explain, and I don't really care. It's
no. I think it's the same situation where Stephen Sommers was like, I like this guy, so I'm not going to kill him.
Yeah. It's Miles O'Brien syndrome, where it's like, you're charming. I'll just keep putting you in episodes.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. And that's it. Brendan Fraser kisses the girl. Her brother kisses a camel, and
who doesn't love that?
Alec Guinness walks off into the sunset.
Yeah, looks down from heaven. Yeah, and again, like it was not interested in being a franchise. It's not trying to set anything up. It's just like, oh, here's a fun movie. And at the time, it was kind of a gamble because Universal had lost a bunch of money. Like they'd had a bunch of flops, and they weren't real sure that this movie was going to do anything at all, but that was a huge hit, and some would say saved the studio. It's great. Yeah, so I can see why they, and franchises weren't the thing that they are now.
Yeah.
But I do like that it's like, this was fun. Just have a fun adventure. Okay, now go about your day. You don't have to worry about the lore of this or anything.
Yeah. Followed up with 2 sequels, which I didn't know. Mm-hmm. The Mummy Returns, which I remember very well. And do you know the third one?
No, but I know it's Rob Cohen directing it, who did The Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, because it's The Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, which I'd never heard of until the other night when I watched this movie and I was doing some research. Because I knew about the Scorpion King or whatever with The Rock, which is a sequel spin-off or whatever of this franchise. So this third one I've not seen, so I might watch it and report back to you. Maybe we'll do a Patreon on it, because it's Jet Li and Brendan Fraser. It's supposed to be terrible. But Michelle Yeoh's in it. Like there's like real people, and it's the Fast and Furious guy who you're in love with and want to get married to.
To Rob Cohen?
Yeah.
No, I don't like Rob Cohen at all.
Yeah, you love all this Fast and the Furious. You watched all those movies, and you're like,
Well,
Fast and the Furious. That's you. You sound like that.
I do sound like that, but there is evidence on the show of me not liking the Fast and the Furious. I liked 5 or 6, whichever one that was.
Oh yeah, that's true. We hated one movie so much we watched another one at the same week.
We were like, I don't want to talk about this. Can we watch? It was Tokyo Drift that we were like, this stinks. Which was actually, I think, Justin Lin. I don't remember who did that one, but Rob Cohen only did the first one, and then he also did XXX, or however you say that Vin Diesel movie.
Yeah, Triple X.
Is it just called Triple X?
Yeah, it's called Triple X. And then there's Triple X State of the Union and Triple X The Return of Xander Cage.
I have seen The Return of Xander Cage, and it is awful.
I've seen Triple X, and it is the most 90s movie that's ever happened.
Yeah, it seems like it might be.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm going to rollerblade onto my skateboard and snowboard down the hill while drinking Mountain Dew.
That's why The Return of Xander Cage makes no sense, because it was, it was way more recent than that. I mean, it's still probably like 10 years old or something like that, but it's like, you're still doing this?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't as cool anymore. This feels like a Mountain Dew ad.
Yeah, well, watch The Mummy. That's what Alex says. This was delightful. Don't pay any attention to it, but it was, this was a lot of fun to revisit. I may even watch the sequel, and I'll probably be disappointed by it, but like, this was fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Like, I do not remember seeing it in the theater. I remember, that was fun, but I don't remember anything about it. So it was nice to revisit it. And yeah, it was great. Got kids, and are tired of showing them pretentious French movies all the time, like you do with children. Show them The Mummy. Oh
wait, no, we got a new segment. I forgot. Okay. Wait,
yeah.
Okay. Wait, I remember the theme song this time. Okay. The theme song, as it is every week, is hey, what's that? It's that thing that you like. Hey, what's that? We're gonna talk about it tonight, and then some words that rhyme. Here we go. All right, so John, did you like anything recently? Oh, thanks.
I liked that song, is what I liked.
yeah, things we liked recently is Alex's weird Bob Fosse song that he did.
Yeah, it had Zad, it had pep.
Oh, it had pep?
It moved, it sang.
I didn't want pep.
What have I been enjoying recently? Well, a couple of things. I mentioned in the last episode, that I've been doing that Roger Corman thing through the Hollywood Theater and Movie Madness, where they were showing films of Roger Corman and having people that worked on them come on to talk about Roger Corman. And most recently, they had on they showed Piranha and had Joe Dante on to talk about that. Joe Dante, who also directed Gremlins and stuff like that, and he's got a podcast. Well, he's on it. I forget the name of the other host, but The Movies That Made Me. Is absolutely a lot of fun to watch. They have different guests on to talk about a group of movies that they really liked, or like about a specific theme. Like they had Panos Cosmatos on, who did Mandy, and he was on there talking about future dystopian movies, and that was a lot of fun to listen to. So I've been enjoying that a lot. And then for stuff to actually watch, I threw on The Boys on Amazon Prime. And that's fun. I've been enjoying it. It's not the most amazing thing ever, but for superhero stuff, it's a nice little twist on it. And I think, although it suffers from its own problems, I would say that it has a much clearer point of view about superheroes and power structures, whatever, than that dang Watchmen show. And it's also just kind of silly in a lot of ways too, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed The Boys. I have a recommendation that I didn't think I was going to give. So I had no interest in watching WandaVision, the Disney Plus show about Wanda Maximoff, a.k.a. the Scarlet Witch, and Vision, a.k.a. Vision. I don't think he has another name. And I was like, oh, this is stupid. I don't really care. I'm pretty done with Marvel stuff at the moment. I'll watch, if another movie comes out, I'll probably watch it. But yeah, I'm not super interested. But there was a run of Vision comics from a few years ago that were really good. It was like this weird suburban Vision thing where he's got kids, and it gets super weird, and it's kind of great. And I ended up reading those a while ago, and I heard that they're kind of pulling elements of that into this show. So I was like, all right, I'll watch this stupid thing. And man, it's pretty fucking good. And it's annoying. It's like, it's a satire of old sitcoms for the first 3 episodes, but mixed with these kind of world breaking kind of surreal moments of what's actually going on. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, it's really worth a watch. And all the episodes are like super short because there's like 8 minutes of credits in every episode. So it's great. So you really don't have to like, you're not committing that much time at all to like bang them out.
Is it like Mandalorian where they're just of varying lengths?
I think so. I wasn't really paying attention, but they were all pretty short and they all had super long, like I think they're like 20 something minutes maybe. Like they're short, but yeah, it's really worth watching, especially if you're someone that likes old TV. Like, you know, some of the references are pretty funny. Yeah. It's worth a go, which I was not expecting to say because it's 2 characters I don't give half a shit about. But yeah,
well, there you go.
WandaVision. Thus is my recommendation.
Yeah, just both superhero stuff this week.
So John, you may have picked up during the last like 3 years or so that at the end of each episode we say what we're going to watch next time.
I've noticed that. Yes.
Okay, cool. So what do you want to watch next time?
I was thinking we could listen to Twitter user Pop and Flip and her suggestion that we check out You've Got Mail. It keeps our sort of late 90s, turn of the century thing going. And we've not really done a whole lot of romance on this show.
We've not done a lot of romance. And is this our first Hanks?
It might be.
That's pretty, we had a good run. We had a good Hanksless run.
Yeah, that's impressive. Is that right? I'd have to go back and look, but we might be, this might be.
I don't remember him because he definitely hasn't starred in any. And that pretty much says he's not in a movie.
Yeah. I think we've been threatening each other with Cloud Atlas for a while. So maybe that's why I just think we've done one, but
yeah. Well, I think we made a no Wachowskis unless they make a new movie proclamation after we did, 4 or 5 episodes in a row, where the hell we did.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you, Twitter user. What'd you say?
Well, it's at Pop and Flip.
Yes,
Pamela Warren. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the suggestion. And we will be watching You've Got Mail, which is a reference to America Online. If you don't know what that is, go somewhere in the middle of the country because apparently there's still like 5 million people on it.
A lot of discs left to use.
Yes,
they sent out so many of those.
60 minutes free to go on keyword goth. Hey John, ASL.
I was not even. I didn't have America Online. I had Prodigy, which I think was even older.
Oh well, very fire startery of you.
Yes,
to keep the late 90s theme going.
That was good. That was well done.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna watch You've Got Mail. Do that. We'll see you next time.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.